Good evening and welcome to November Foxtrot. How are we doing, Lance?
I'm all right, mate. You?
Not too bad. Not too shabby at all. I have
good.
A presentation for tonight's episode in the space of 3 minutes. So that's always a plus.
On time as ever.
Tonight we're sponsored by Dr. Pepper.
Oh, are we? Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm sponsored by Stanley, as per. NoFo's live. Thanks for that. Google Chrome. Genius.
Hi, Rage. Hi, Fresh Meat. Badger. Harry Badger. Kieran.
Even all.
I know Harry Badger has recently gone out and bought a shed ton of pyro, including a mortar.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Saw the pictures. I was like, geez, good God.
He's done a cracking job on a video for Okto as well. So if anyone's interested, go and hit up the Okto socials.
And I think it's up on Mr. Badger's YouTube as well. So look up Harry Badger. Nice and simple.
Andy says, "Hi guys, he's onto Facebook." Andy, if you start swapping tonight.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, don't do that.
Figure at you.
Luck it to Bob, Bob to luck it. Yeah, shout out to Andy for last week as well. It was.
He says it's not on Facebook. Why are we? No, we are on Facebook.
It's onto Facebook. Oh, not. I'm not on. I don't.
We're definitely. Here we go. We're definitely on Facebook because Danny's there.
Yeah.
Wagwan Mandem.
Croydon Hammond has confirmed it in his own special way. Wagwan Madam means you are streaming live on Facebook for all.
Mandem, not Madam.
Oh, Mandem. I thought it said Madam. Sorry.
Wagwan Madam is what you say to a
it's
lady
when
you're trying to impress, surely.
It's when Croydon Hammond's turning the charm on.
Yeah.
He goes on a charm offensive. Oh, Wagwan Madam.
Hi, Andrew. Andy says he's been kicked off of Facebook, possibly. Maybe you have.
Wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. Cruelty to dogs with tents and robotic things.
Yeah.
So I was, earlier.
I'll tell you what, I hit a new low last night. So
Oh dear.
Yeah, I know, right? So I was sitting there and I was like, oh, I really fancy something sweet. Right, just want something a little bit sweet. So I ended up raiding my my MilSim supplies, and I ended up eating a cranberry turnover and a packet of peanut butter. But
you need to stop with the peanut butter. You've got a bit.
But the particular low. So the peanut butter tubes are like that, and I ripped off the top corner, but it was like a hangnail, in that it just kept going, and I ended up completely taking the side off the peanut butter sachet.
Did you actually have a good look inside it?
At this point, I'm like eating the peanut butter just like a set of pan pipes, just like lapping at the peanut butter. I've got peanut butter going all over my fingers. It went on my t-shirt. Oh, it was an absolute chaotic adventure.
So you're better off just stripping down completely raw for eating peanut butter.
And then just smearing myself in the peanut butter.
Just cover yourself in it. Yeah, it's brilliant.
Swampy beast. To be fair, if I covered myself in peanut butter, I would imagine I'd look like Pete Brewer.
Could well be,
Captain Splatfuck.
Literally be an allergen's nightmare, wouldn't you?
Yeah. It's my new MilSim tactic.
Oh no, it's Allergy Man.
My plan is to fight the enemy off using peanut butter.
Allergy Man, sorry.
Oh, Danny, don't make it weird. He said I'll lick you.
He would do as well, though.
Harry says, sorry to both of you for springing the body cams on you last minute. I know it must have been an inconvenience, but for the mortar footage, it was well worth it. Thanks, chaps. Not a problem, mate. It was awesome. I felt like a right little celebrity.
Yeah, I have no idea whether any of the footage I didn't video it. I was basically a bipod for you for the weekend. So, I don't know if it's any good or not at all. So here we go.
Chris says, say warrior.
No.
So we were at the Okto event.
Oh
no, we were at the Okto event, and it turns out that Lance apparently says warrior in a slightly weird way. I'm not commenting either way. Don't have a go at me. But Chris was picking that one up. And Ray says, "Can we not have the image of Mike naked, covered in peanut butter, probably in a dark garage with his murder bag?"
Can we not have the image? It's too late, mate. That seed's been sown.
It's there.
It's been put out there.
Yeah. Maybe we should come out with a NoFo calendar, and that can be that can be November.
It spreads the peanut butter on its skin, or else it gets the hose again. Put the fucking puppy in the basket. For those of you who haven't seen Silence of the Lambs, I suggest you go and watch it.
I don't get the comment, to be fair. I was just kind of agreeing.
Have you not seen Silence of the Lambs?
I have seen Silence of the Lamb, but I don't know it well enough that I could like specifically reference things. The only thing I know is like hello Clarice, and he doesn't even say that. He says like good evening or something like
that. Oh yeah. Where she comes out the elevator.
Yeah.
And he says something else afterwards, which is very, very horrid.
Yes.
There, we won't go into that.
Yeah. Andy says, Badger, there was like 10 minutes of me looking at Mike's chest. There was. So Andy and I are obviously on the JTF team together. I've got this camera and I was like, oh, look, I've got a camera. And then Andy literally just stood in front of me, just going like that, basically, for quite a while. Louis says, good job, Dad, from Louis.
Thanks, mate. Nicely done. And then we got about 20 minutes, mate, to bedtime.
Chris says, are you both going in April? So that's the next October.
No, we're not, because it's AI 500.
I wasn't sure if you were or not.
I don't think I am, no. Is it the same weekend or the weekend before, weekend after?
I don't think it's the same weekend.
AI 500 is the 11th, isn't it? April 11th weekend. Even Terry, welcome back from work.
Hi, Terry.
Yeah, I don't know, mate. I'd love to, obviously, because I've not really missed one yet. Well, apart from last year, I had to miss one, unfortunately. Family circumstances and all that. I'd like to go, but I don't think I'll be able to do. Let me work on it. I'll see. I've got a certain somebody to talk to about that, and I don't.
Who, funnily enough, might be watching anyway. So
who happens to be watching now?
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see.
Harry says, Gary Delaney joke. I can give you the cause of anaphylactic shock in a nutshell.
Boom, boom.
Yeah. So, pew pew news, I guess.
Pew pew news, yes.
We need to get like a little intro for this. We need some like fancy like pew pew pew.
Maybe we could just grab our RIFs up and just start shooting them.
No, because then we get kicked off of YouTube.
But you didn't let me finish. I was just going to say, or not, as the case may be.
All right. Any purchases?
I got the Great Tommy Sleep out, so we've both signed up for that. Didn't really talk about it beforehand, so perhaps we should have done a joint one for NoFo, but we've just
would have made more sense.
Individual one, so you've got to double donate now. So yeah, we're doing.
I have to admit, I haven't donated to yours because I've donated to James McNeary's. Who
I've donated to James. I haven't donated to yours yet.
Well, I've donated to mine. I've donated to James's. I reckon this is a pyramid scheme. This is basically how we're going to be funding the British Legion, is just through people running charity events, then donating to all their friends that are also running charity events.
Brilliant, perfect.
It's a good plan. It's a good plan.
It works. Yeah, so we're going to be doing that. Are we doing it together? Or are we doing?
I wasn't doing mine together, so I was doing mine on the. Oh, when was it?
Oh, it cost me double.
Mine's middle of March, so I'm doing mine these 18th and 19th.
Or is that the weekend before SEO?
Yes.
Or
weekend before...
Oh, so that's the SEO weekend then.
And the SEO weekend, yeah. Sorry, because I'm going to the Legion event.
But you're not yet. So you're doing your sleep out on the SEO weekend, whereas I'll be at the SEO weekend. So I have to do mine the week before you.
Yeah.
Oh, it's very complicated, isn't it?
And I can't do mine at the SEO weekend because I'm not staying away from home, if that makes sense. So it's just.
And you're not going to the SEO, are you?
No. So the reason I'm not going to the SEO event is because of the baby. So I'm only doing one event a month. One event a year. That'd be a nightmare. One event a month. But I'm allowed to camp out in the garden for those 2 days. So I as long as I'm around, it's not a problem. But I can be in the garden apparently.
That's right. As long as you can hear the bell ring.
Yeah.
Hello, darling.
So what is the Tommy Sleep Out? Let's just talk about that.
So we're doing it's obviously it's for the Royal British Legion, raising money for the vets, their families, bits and bobs like that. So we're doing the you've set yourself a bit of a challenge, didn't you? The more money you raise, the minimal kit you're going to have. I'm down for that. Yeah, I might have to put a little side note on mine. So if I can get over me 175, I'll just bivvy bag it down for the night with no cover, just a bivvy bag. Hardcore.
So that the whole challenge, basically, the premise of it is it's called the Great Tommy Sleep Out, and the idea is to promote the fact that there are a lot of ex-soldiers and the like who are obviously homeless, having served their country, potentially having come back with mental disorders, physical disorders, or not disorders per se, but you know what I mean, like the challenges that they now have to cope with. Exactly. And they're basically sort of, it's to kind of promote the fact that there's a lot of homeless people out there that are ex-serving soldiers, and it also raises money to help them. So, I mean, the premise of mine is that the more money I raise, the less stuff I'm going to have. So I think I'm fairly close to my first target of being in a tent. So I'm dropping down to a basher, and then after that a bivvy, and then I wasn't really sure what else I can
but then
remove.
Just the last resort is just peanut butter.
Just laying there naked. Just I hate this, but I'm doing it for charity.
This is horrible. Yeah.
So
that's good, mate. It's good.
Liz says, "Oi, oi, girls, welcome back." Sick note.
Yes, thanks, mate. I had a little hiatus last week.
Alien World Aquatics says hello. Hi.
Alien World Aquatics. Wow.
That's a cool name.
Hello. I like that.
I wonder if that's like aquatics on an alien world, or if it's like
Alien World Aquatics. Well, supplying all aquatic items to Alien World.
Alien Worlds, yeah.
Like if you're having like a koi pond in your back garden in Mars, perhaps tropical fish.
#1 exporter of cod to Jupiter.
Yeah. I'm looking for a new tropical fish tank for my.
I'm really sorry.
My weekend
Aquatics. You've obviously this is the first time you've joined us on the chat, but we're not purposely picking on you. I promise. It's just it's exciting.
It's an interesting name. Yeah. Thanks for joining us. Nanu.
Ray says, "Have you ever considered putting some veteran organisations on your website?" We have not, but I'm going to make a note of that, and we will do that.
Good shout, Ray. And we should have a direct link to buying Tranger on there. I think that's a definite link for Rage there.
Our Tranger discount code.
Tranger discount is just Rage.
It's a picture of Rage just going, yeah!
Tranger! Still need to Photoshop Rage onto King Leonidas kicking that dude into the pit in 300, but instead of shouting Sparta, he shouts Tranger. That's got to happen. Someone out there who's great with Photoshop, make it so. Addy, job opportunity.
Andy says I could just go down to lying in the woods holding jam and peanut butter. I could.
Peanut butter jelly time.
Yeah. Mike, you could end up with just some peanut butter and a baby monitor. All right, this peanut butter, I like peanut butter to clarify, but the smearing myself all over it is a joke. It's not something I partake in at the weekend.
During the week though, he does, just not the weekend.
Yeah. Chris Berry says Man Down is a good group of guys. Yeah, so there's actually a Man Down event coming up, which is already on the website. So on our Intel section, I think there's details of it on there. I don't think it's happened yet. Let me just double check.
Mike Fraser, you need to check your
So 30th of April to the 1st of May, 2022. It's Operation Stigma 2, the Weekender, in aid of young minds. And that's in cooperation with Man Down Events and Alpha 55. So if you're interested, there's a link on our Intel section, and that will take you through, I think, to their Facebook page. So if you've got any questions, it goes through to the website. So if you're interested in that, definitely hit that up. That's all the details on there. So,
yes, very good. Any purchases for you this week, mate? Or anything?
The only thing I have bought is I bought a Turbo Flame twin jet lighter.
Ooh, I bought a pack of Bics from the pound shop in Lighterland. Can't go wrong with them. Little Bic lighter in your kit, wicked. I did buy one of our torches from our giveaways because I liked it so much. So this is one of the giveaway prizes was that the Conus 360 lumen tactical light pistol, underslung pistol light or rifle, whatever. And I liked it that much. I bought one. These are wicked. And well, to be fair, I think they're wicked, and I'm going on the comparison that I've never ever owned a pistol light before. So I've got nothing to compare it to. But for my first outing into pistol lightness, really cool. So I've got this is just like an off-cut of Picatinny rail. But look at this, just to fit in it. No windy, no.
Sorry, I've hidden the screen. I'm back. Oh, that's wicked. I'm back.
All you literally do is just pull these two bits down, and it just slides off. There's no Allen key jobs, so you can literally just have it. If you haven't got a holster for your pistol that holds a tack light, no worries, man.
I'll tell you what, actually, you can get a molly to you can get a molly to Picatinny adapter.
Yeah, but it's
like
satisfying.
A little panel of
It's just satisfying.
You're right there, Lance.
I love it. I love things like that. It's just like one good clunk, and it's like, yes.
You can buy a little like square adapter that goes onto molly. There's a little short section of Picatinny rail. So that's the sort of thing you could have the torch equipped to, And then if you do need to slap it on at any point, you can just quickly nip it off of there and put it on the end of your rifle.
It's even got attack mode. So yeah, very happy with that. Conus, it's called the Conus Light-TL, 360 lumen, waterproof, blah, blah, blah. Takes one of the standard, Dubry batteries. CR2 battery, which just comes included. I've seen them on Amazon for £45.
Mike Brewer, fuck's sake.
What's he done?
He's just so he put in the chat. Hang on. I mean, mate, fair play to you. He says, Mike Fraser, you need to check your RBL. I've literally just looked at it. He's just donated very kindly £60. But the fucker's now put me up to 120, which means I'm down to Basher and Tarp and Bivvy Bag. So thank you very much, Mike. I really, really appreciate it. But at the same time, oh, fucker.
Splatfuck. Captain Splatfuck has struck. Brilliant.
Oh, thanks, mate. I appreciate that.
Nice, you do that a lot. I do, mate. Yes. So I'm happy. That was my little purchase for this week. All good fun. All good fun.
Andy says, I need a photo of Rage. Can have it done before the end of the show.
I'll leave you in Rage's capable hands, mate.
Yeah.
If you can find a picture of Rage.
Andy, Rage obviously came on the show a while ago, so there might be a picture you can take from that potentially. Who knows?
Yes.
Regardless says, what's your object today? So we're going to be talking about Okto. We're going to be doing a little Okto debrief, and then we're going to be talking about our wonderful RIFs that we have. Our
wonderful whiffles.
Which we've worked out we can do without YouTube kicking us off. So that's the plan.
With no touchy.
Yeah, of course. Unfortunately. Ray says, I bought a Vortex Spitfire AR prism scope as I'm old and have bad eyes. Oh, I do like the Vortex stuff. I do need to get some.
Yeah, nice, man. Fair play.
So I'll tell you what, should we jump into Okto? So obviously we had a bit of a debrief last week with Andy. Very kindly came on the show to have a chat. So we obviously talked about it a bit from a JTF perspective. But how did it go from the PMC? We're obviously on the other team. We had a few little shindigs together.
It was wicked. It's good fun. They're a great bunch of guys, the PMC. So, Tim Brown heading them up. We always have a good crack. I think we had 3 or 4 newer guys who'd not taken part before who managed to get on to the event. Bring Andy back. Bye, everybody. So yeah, we had 2 or 3 new guys onto the team and just fell straight into getting involved, getting it done. And it's great to link up with them because, like you say, they've got the honor roll sort of thing. Whereas if you've been to the previous event, you get sort of first dibs on whether you want to go to the next one. So it's nice. You see a lot of the old faces there, and you build up a good rapport with all the PMC team. So yeah, really enjoyed it, mate. Hit the ground running off the back. Had our not uranium. Oh, lithium. We had our lithium mine up and running. So we were producing that, and that was being guarded, making sorties across the river.
Well, you guys were all over the site, like literally. We came out. We
put some mileage in over that weekend. I mean, it's not it's not a humongous site, but when you're constantly moving about and cutting from this section to that section and having to do bits and bobs, it was quite tiresome, but good fun. It was great. It's just a nice, easy going team. There's no egos there or anything like that. It's just a really good team to be on. Really good fun. So yeah, we thoroughly enjoyed it. I did enjoy our little.
We had a little spat, didn't we? Well, not really a spat, but there was a bit of an engagement. So one of the
we had several. I thought it was good.
Yeah, but the one that really stands out between the two of us is there was so the Okto rules are basically if you get shot in the arm or the leg, it's not counted as a kill per se. You can carry on operating. You obviously just have lost that limb. So, for example, if you get shot in the leg, you can limp around. Shot in the arm, you have to use the other arm for any of your shooting or anything like that. So I saw Lance and I clocked him. So I was sort of had a bit sneaky, and then he clocked me and he started to shoot. So I ducked behind some logs, and he managed to catch me in the arm. Now, to be fair to me, I wasn't 100% clear on the rules. So I've got the dead rag, so I pulled it out. So I was like, I've been shot in the arm. And then I think because you were like, oh, he's down. So you'd wandered over to me.
I didn't know I'd hit you in the arm. I thought I'd critically hit you.
Yeah.
So I thought, oh, I must have popped him in the head, or he's taken a couple in the chest or something. Sorry, just had a weird thing come up on my computer. So I presume that obviously
and that, to be fair, is 100% my fault. Like I shouldn't have pulled the red rag out. I think it's just
scallywag.
No, but it was accidental. And to be fair, you came over, and as soon as because I went to shoot you, Nothing came out of my pistol. Basically, just a load of gas. So I just froze your knee.
Yeah, I came up to you. I was all tactical. I was like, like Matrix,
swanning over,
all nonchalant. Yeah, I'll kill him. Yeah. And I knelt down, and you literally just went like made some odd noise and just went with your pistol. Like it was about that far away from my knee, and I was just like, oh, that's really cold. And you were like, oh yeah, you only got me in the arm. I was like, oh, you bastard, that's horrid. Yeah. Why would you do that to me?
Because you'd said, oh, you've got your dead rag out. I was like, oh, I'm really sorry. No, fair enough. So
it was all very gentlemanly, wasn't it?
I know, exactly. I said, you're still up. No, that's fine. And he went, oh no, I'm tired anyway. I'll have a little bit of a sit down.
I'm going to kneel down as I've just been kneecapped by my co-host, with froze my joint basically. It was literally all the gas in that mag went straight onto my knee. I was like, oh.
I was just in the moment. I was just like, yeah.
That was brilliant. It was funny. It was really funny.
It was good.
You froze me. Froze my heart. But it was good, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was good being on two different teams. I won't lie that I might have missed you. Might have missed being on the same team as you, but it was good. It was good.
I must admit, I did find myself wandering lonesomely sometimes, looking around thinking, I literally have no team. There's no team here. I found myself just trolling through some woodland and go, oh no, he's not here. Shed a little tear. But all the boys looked after me, Dragar and Dragar Airsoft.
Yeah.
Top lad.
I mean, I think that was the difference probably between the JTF and PMC that I found, was that the PMC seems a little bit more, and to be fair, it's within the kind of the different teams' remits, but the JTF was a lot more, right, we're all a team, we're all working together, and we had fewer numbers, so we had to do that.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did have a lot less. I mean, Christ, you must have had, 11, 12 guys?
8. There were 8 of us
8?
Versus 20 really? Odd of you.
Oh, no, but that's because you had the ding-dong motherfuckers.
Yeah, there's only 4 of them when they joined in. 4 or 5, I think. So.
That was interesting. It's like, which one of this lot have actually turncoated now then? Because it's like they're all just in DPM. And we're like, I think we should shoot all of them and sell their body parts. that's my input. Just kill all of them.
Yeah. Andy says, oh, and when we charged him thinking we were up against his MP5, that was going against the DMR, and he picked us both off. Yeah. And you shot my fucking earpiece out my ear.
I have never made
Let's take a minute to just talk about that. Because literally, Lance is like, we've been sitting in this freaking tyre fort for ages because that was the only place that we could get to. And you were sort of sitting in a little barricade, a little way off, and sort of just picking it was like a mortar pit,
wasn't it? On the T-junction of the crossroads.
And then literally, rounds are coming in, and I caught one right on the ear, and I was like, oh, really hurt. I mean, good shot, but it really hurt. And I went to sort of check my ear, just to kind of casually touch it, and I was like, oh, my earpiece is falling out. I was like, I can't hear out of my left ear. And basically, the silicon thing was sort of stuck in my head.
Literally just cleaved it in two. Straight through it.
Literally shit it in two. So I had to buy a new one.
That sort of half an hour was probably my best little bit of the event for me. For not for the team, but for my own personal sort. Because I literally left the lithium mine and patrolled up the. I had Smudge on my right hand, Swampy on my right hand side going through the tree line. I was on the left hand side of the road. You and Andy were in the mortar pit, and I think I got you guys, and then you dropped back to your regen, which was the tire barricade thing, probably 50, 60 meters back. So we pushed up, and we just had an engagement. It was just me and Swampy against, I don't know how many of your JTF were there, and then the ding dong. Fucking whoever the fuck they are started on us, and then we had the Chinese, the bloody triads. They came in from the other way, so we was having a little skirmish with them as well. There was only 2 of us there, and we were like, "I've got about a mag and a half left, tops." But then I had a right touch because I wore my Condor light gunner plate carrier, which I'd not used for ages. I was like, "No, I'm going to use it this weekend," because I run my Warrior test rig to the previous one, and then I had my DPM one on the most recent, and so I thought, I'm going to use my OD green. That's cool, I like that. Opened up the little kangaroo patch at the front. I was like, 2 FBS Mark 5s are in there. No, the black ones are really good ones. I was like, fucking yes, firepower. I said, look at the treasure I've just found. Pulled out these 2 Mark 5s. We're in business, boys. So that was good fun. But yeah, it was great. It was just a great event. There was no no bullshit. It was no nonsense. It was just bloody.
Yeah.
It was really good. It was a wicked event to start the new year off. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
Really
it was
good
fun. That was the main thing. It wasn't
and the
like
props. That matey Suzuki technical that he brought for your JTF team. That was fucking brilliant. I mean, the money and time and effort you must have put into that was exceptional. It was really cool, and obviously Josh and the Okto guys with all the quad bikes and all the props were there, the body parts in the frozen ice packs and coming in with the different characters. It's just brilliant fun. It really is good. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's proper good fun. It's a right laugh, and obviously the supreme leader is just
Vern.
Vern is the best, man. He literally just makes me instantly happy. So yeah, he's a wonderful human beings. That's what they all are.
Yeah.
Thoroughly enjoyed it. It was good.
Should we talk pews?
Pews and Bonnie McGrews. Yeah, go on in. You can start.
Well, I think
all right, I'll start. So that is, yes,
that
that is my first and only ever pistol that I've ever bought. People have got quite a few pistols in the airsoft world, haven't they?
I've got about 8. I've only got one I use regularly. But
I've got one, and that is it. I don't know why you need to have so many different pistols. It's a pistol. Do you know what I mean? But I suppose you can say the same thing about rifles at the end of the day. It's an airsoft rifle. But I've WE high capper 45. I've done nothing to it apart from adjust the hop to make the BB go straight and clean it.
A cheeky little conus there as well.
Yeah, I've got my tack light on there. It's weird. That's a wicked bit of kit. But I love that pistol. I get accurate to sort of like 30 odd ish meters, maybe a bit less, before it starts dropping off a bit. But I've always been one of them where I think the especially, I don't know, maybe I'm too MilSim for MilSim. I think the pistol shouldn't be able to reach the distance that a rifle does. Do you know what I mean? But then I don't know how you would do that without it dropping off of the like 6-7 meters. It'd be a bit pathetic, pretty much pointless using it. So yeah, I mean, I get good accuracy on that for sort of like 25-30 meters, and that's it for me. There's no upgrades in it at all. Green gas in the summer, red in the winter.
It doesn't look like it's been sprayed.
It hasn't been sprayed. That is the only. Do you know what? That and my MP5 is the only things that haven't been sprayed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be expecting a little bit of a cheeky sprayage.
You know what? I was thinking about having a little play about with the grip covers. About maybe getting some sort of like a real off brown, dark mahogany brown on there, and just really rubbing it in with like a clear lacquer, just so it looks like almost like a redwood, like Canadian redwood sort of thing.
Well, you could always change them out. You can
get the real ones. I mean, it's a 1911 pistol grip, so I mean, I'm sure. Well, I don't know if real steel ones would fit there or not. I don't know, but you can get like the wood ones. But I don't know if I want to go down the road or not. There's nothing wrong with them. They're fine. Do the job. So, but yeah, that's a wicked bit of pistol. It makes a good sound. It's a really nice blowback to it. Yeah, I've never had any problems with it really. No misfires. The mags have always been good. The WE pistol mags for it, they've always been fine. Yeah. My little go-to. I've got hardly any kills with it, I must admit. I've got a few, but not many.
Well, I haven't got many on my pistol either. Even
when I first started out, I never really used to use it very much. I mean, it got to the point where I didn't really bother taking it out. But then when you start getting sort of like into games where it's like weapon hits, counting and stuff like that, and you're like, I've got nothing now till I regen. That's when it sort of comes into
it's building clearance as well, mostly, isn't it? I mean, to be fair,
building clearances, and obviously now I'm using my DMR a hell of a lot more than my sort of like my normal M4 and that. Then it's a must. As soon as you get inside that MED, you're switching to your pistol, which I can do quite quick. I think actually Terry, when we did the last Taliban event at APOC, and we took their fob at the top of the hill, and my weapon got hit out. So I resorted to my sidearm. Terry actually complimented me on the speed of my draw, and I'll never forget that. I was like, "Oh, mate, thanks for that."
Start calling you Sheriff Lance.
Yeah. So it was all. That's my sidearm. Yeah. In a nutshell.
Cool. What sort of do you run? Gas, CO2? What sort of gas do you use?
Gas. The Nupro. I use the WE. Is it WE or is it the Nupro one? Green gas in the summer, and I run red gas in the winter for it.
Yeah.
And like I said, I've never had any problems. The only thing I've not done with it, and I should do, is I don't use the maintenance gas. I put a bit of Vaz around the old O-rings and stuff. But like I said, I've never had any leaks or anything with them, so it's always been good. Never been an issue.
Cool.
It's a nice bit. It's a nice solid feel as well. Do you know what I mean? It's a good feel to it.
See, I like the Glock. I'm just going to move on to this. This is the WE Glock 17. I've had this so I originally had a TM Glock 17, and then I bought this one because this can deal with CO2 mags better than the TM.
Mm-hmm.
From my understanding, I'm not a tech expert at all. So this is completely stock. I was running CO2 mags until probably about last year, and then I sort of started going back over to gas again on my discovery of red gas, basically, because I was always struggling in the winter to basically get the output on the gas mags. I mean, gas blowbacks are always a bit of a finicky beast anyway.
Oh yeah, especially when you bring temperature, it makes it even worse.
And the CO2 mags, while they're really good, I was finding that the valves needed resealing fairly often. And then because the cheap metal on the valves itself, it was kind of mashing the screw thread. So they became a bit of a nightmare to have to try and unscrew and fix. So I've kind of just transitioned back to the standard gas, and I'm now using red gas, as you said, in the winter and green in the summer. And yeah, I mean, I've had this one for probably about 4 years now. It doesn't really get a lot of use. I mean, there was a period where I found just taking it off as well, just leaving it behind because didn't really ever use it. But if it's ever a sort of a CQB game or anything like that, or especially the Okto games, yeah, really enjoying it. Just makes a bit of a difference carrying around the LMG. You can just kind of drop that off, and then you can go sweeping around the rooms with a pistol.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and like you said, obviously, if you're not really going to go bursting into a room, especially some events as well, so close quarters with an LMG. You know, you're quite lucky with your Stoner. You've got semi-auto selection, haven't you? But obviously, my 249, I haven't. So as soon as I squeeze the trigger,
but it's also just the length of it. Like, I mean, if you've got to go into little cupboards or anything like that, it's just you just can't do that with a long rifle.
No, that's right. That's right. Yeah. So just transition into that.
Yeah,
a little bit sneaky.
I think it might be the American in me, but I've always liked Glocks. I just like square things. Like, just looks
fair play. It's a classic, isn't it? Really, it's a classic design, classic look of it, and I love it. Yeah, I went for the 19. I didn't want to get an old school 1911. The other one I did look at was a Browning High Power. Looking at that one of them. I mean, they'll go to for the Paras and Tutu, and that used to be back in the day, wasn't it?
Yeah,
to be cool. Nice to have.
I do have, to be fair, I've got a couple other pistols as well. So I've got a Mark 23, but I don't generally tend to use it that often. I've got a what's the Luger? I got a World War II Luger.
Oh wow, nice.
Which I just bought because I just love the Luger.
So
I don't ever run it or anything like that. It's just like just play with it every once in a while. So that's quite cool. And I've also got the the really like glossy, glitzy Mexican Cartel 1911, the one that's like all like inlaid with all the patterning and stuff like that.
Oh right, okay, with the like two naked women on the pistol grips or something like that.
Yeah. So I've got one of those. That's pretty sexy.
Fair play.
Fresh Meat says my G17 is a little monster. Yeah, so I haven't upgraded this at all. I know Wayne was talking about a few upgrades I could look at, but to be fair, I've never really needed it. It's always sort of been, if I'm at range, I'm just using like my primary, and then this is purely as a backup. So. And even when I do shoot it just shoots gas out anyway. So
yeah, just got to work on getting them BBs at the end of it, and I'll be fucking sorted. Yeah. Absolutely,
it probably needs a bit of maintenance or something like that. So.
I mean, that's one thing I must say with the old high cap of 45. Never let me down. It's never once misfired, or I'm saying that now. Touch some wood quick. It probably will now. It'll probably just break into a million bits next time I draw it or something like that. But yeah, it's always been very reliable. Yes, yeah, indestructible apparently. So, but yeah, like I said, I've never had any problems with it. So it's always been nice. But two, if I had to get another two pistols, I'd say it would be like Kenny's just mentioned there, the lovely feeling, a Browning High Power. It'd be one of them, and I'd really like to get sort of like the current British Army. There'd be the P226, the SIG, which would be cool. Nice. I'd like to have a go at one of them. Next event coming up, anyone's got one? Let me fire a couple of rounds off. Yeah. Wicked, lovely. Thank you very much.
Fresh Meat's Glock can apparently lift .4s if he wants to spend more money.
Yeah, well, mine lists 4 threes, all right. I'll get some good range, get 25, 30 meters out of 4 threes. Only because obviously that's what my DMR uses. It wasn't in the speed loader, so bob. Bang a few of them there. But now I am running 3 6s in my DMR and not 4 threes.
If you ever get a chance, try firing .12s out of a pistol.
.12s?
Yeah, so I had a bag of .12s that came in. I think I had like
did they survive the impact even?
It was some sort of freebie thing, and I just fired it, and literally this thing just went sky high. Like I didn't even change the hop, but it just went straight up in the air.
Like firing it over a fan, just went.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So then
Andrew Taylor.
I was going to move on to SMGs.
Yeah, 2 seconds. Looking at your events calendar, why no Sterling events seems very south.
Oh yeah, I was going to come back to that one.
Yeah.
So Andrew's just said to us that, yeah. So basically, we don't actually add the events to our events calendar. The way that that's added is the event companies themselves. So we've sent out the links to do so, and it's sort of gauge interest from various companies. And Sterling just, I won't say didn't reply because that sounds really bad, but they haven't engaged with the process. So that's why.
Yeah.
So the companies that are on the website are basically the companies that have said, yeah, we want to be a part of this. That's why. So it's nothing to do with us. It's just purely
giving the option to the companies to upload what they want to upload. Whether they've not seen it yet or not, we don't know. But we still went on a couple of event hosters to get in touch with us.
And if you go to an event and they're not one of the ones that we've got on our calendar, let them know. Just say, oh, have you heard about this? And they can drop us an email and we can get it sorted out. It's an easy little process.
It's a wicked benefit. I mean, not only for a player to look and see what's coming up this year, but also for event planners to sort of engage with other event planners to think, oh, right, Christ, you've got that event that weekend. Right, I'm going to do mine for a couple of weeks' time. Just so you're not then trying to fight for players to go to. You've got 2 great events coming up. You think, shit, that's that weekend, or they're on the same weekend, and it's 2 events that you're really sort of not loyal to, but you're really excited for. But now you've got to pick between 2 of them. It's really difficult to do that. So, sort of by doing this calendar, it's enabling players to keep tabs of what's going on, and also event organisers to see what's going on as well. Once they all start getting on board of it, so spread the word, people. Get it all out there. So, it only helps. Only helps.
I was going to jump onto SMGs.
Oh yes, yeah.
So it's quite funny. We didn't necessarily plan this particular thing, but we've worked on the principle of Lance just sent me over photos of his RIFs, and then I've got mine, and we've perfectly got a pistol, an SMG, like a little short rifle, a DMR, an LMG. And then you threw the mortar in at the end, which I just, there was no point of us both putting a picture of our mortars up. So, let's talk about the MP5.
The MP5, yeah. My first ever airsoft rifle was the Umarex MP5A2, blue and black. It was wicked. It only died last year, I think. So I had that for a good 6 years. And I've always loved them. I've always loved the look of them. And I got this one. This is the Cyma Blue Edition, the A3. I've added the aftermarket Picatinny rail at the top there for an optic. But I prefer using the iron sights of it. It's such a short little CQB-esque. I mean, not even CQB. I mean, the range on that thing. The only thing I've done to that was that when out of the box, I personally wasn't too happy with the rate of fire. So all I've done is put a slightly higher torque motor in it, just to make it turn around out a bit quicker. Standard barrel, standard hop. I'm hitting 315 FPS on 0.2s. I fire 0.25s out of it, and it's just a wicked bit of kit. It's a great fun. It's heavy as well, though. It's an AEG. It's not a gas blowback or anything, but it's so heavy, and it feels really reliable. Do you know what I mean? It's like full metal. You obviously got the polymer rear stock and that, and the front grip. But even like the bolt handles all metal, the sling loops, the eyelets are all metal. It's a really good, strong, well-made, very minimal wobble on the rear stock. It's a wicked bit of kit. I love it. Great fun gun to use. The only thing I would like is if they could somehow enable. I mean, obviously, I know you can get a rear-wired solid stock, which you could get a slightly better battery in there. But obviously, I can only get the thin nunchuck batteries in the front. It's not the end of the world. It still runs perfectly well, but it'd be nice to get a little bit more juice in there, just to really open her up a bit. But she came out to play the Okto event against Mike and his counterpart, Mr. Bob.
Yeah, but not quite as much as we thought it was going to be. When we're up
No. Well, I did. That's the thing. See, I changed it out because of the range I can get on the DMR. It just like totally surpasses that. So I thought, no, while I'm here, I'm just going to quickly swap out. And obviously you two. And the last engagement we had, I had the MP5, and then the next engagement we had, I had the DMR. And I do remember that engagement of you two sort of come screaming at me. I was like, you're like, fuck, that's not an MP5. That's just bloody DMR. So you know, it was good.
Yeah.
It's a good bit of kit. Good bit of kit.
Rage says if you've never been tempted with the MP7.
Do you know what? I haven't. No, I mean, I would be if I was like James in our team. He's recently got one, hasn't he, Mike? Or was that the MP5K?
No, he's got the MP5.
A little short stubby, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that one is, I think, like the MP7. To me, that would be an ideal MilSim sniper's secondary. Just to be able to lay down them rounds if and when he needs to, if someone got inside that MED. From going from a sniper rifle, because one of our biggest tactics for taking a sniper is literally just rushing the MED. As soon as you get inside it and they switch out to a pistol or whatnot, it certainly increases your chances of taking them out. However, if they've got one of them, underslung or not underslung, sorry, just like shoulder slung or something like that on a single point, or an MP5K or MP7, then it's going to be a different ball game altogether. You're literally going to be like, fuck. But yeah, that's a wicked bit of kit. I do love it. I enjoy using that. The MP5 slap.
Yeah.
It's just
HK slap. It's the
HK slap. Yeah, it's good fun. And it's very, I mean, it shoots like a laser. Do you know what I mean? The only thing I've changed on that is the motor. So that's completely stock from Simon, the barrel, the hop unit, hot rubber, nub, everything like that. Sorry to interrupt, Mike. I'll check the NoFo email.
It's all right. I'll download it and we'll have it at the end of the show. It'll be a little treat.
Never been tempted with. So yeah, I mean, no, never not been tempted with the MP7. I know the chief, Paul, is MP7 set up. He loves that, and I think it was I think he got it back from Camo Raids before the APOC event, the Taliban event. I think he used it there, and he was literally just screaming about it. It sounds evil. I've heard it go off a few times, and it sounds evil. Paul's one, so yeah, I would be tempted.
Yeah. Well, I've got the MP9. This was my SMG offering. This is the gas buyback ASG.
That's lovely. That is.
It's on the CQB bolt, so it's that's the only thing I've really done to it. Is the standard bolt is too high in FPS. So I've got the CQB bolt on this one. I'm planning to take this to AI 500. I've used it a little bit in the past. Again, I've always found gas to be just a little bit finicky, so I don't generally tend to use it that often. But when I have it,
because for AI 500 April time, we shouldn't be.
Yeah. Well, I've also got the red gas as well, so I'm hoping with the CQB.
Mind you, the weather recently has been all right for gas blowbacks. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
crazy weather.
But I do like this. So it's got the folding stock. You can get the pull-out stock, but I've not got the money to apply that yet. This is the non-fixed. Mate. This is the non-fixed foregrip. So that foregrip on there actually slides off. So it's just sort of a standard Picatinny rail on the front. Those two mags are the short, stubby ones. They also do the longer ones, and I think you can get a like a HPA tapped drum mag for them as well. But I don't generally tend to run HPA. So, but that might be something I do in the future because this is a little beast of a weapon.
It does. It looks wicked.
It sounds amazing. It looks awesome. I mean, if you slap a couple sights on a sight on it, you get the torch on the right hand Picatinny rail. It's just, and also the suppressor. It's got like the big chunky suppressor. Have you
got Picatinny rails on either side of the front foregrip?
No, so it's only on the right hand side,
okay.
top, and on the underside of the front.
It's wicked. That is the lovely looking bit of kit, mate.
So I do like it. This is the second one of these I've owned. No, sorry, this is the first, but I did buy a second one. I managed to find one second hand on Pre-Fired. Back in the day, which was the fixed foregrip version. I sold that one, but the reason I bought it is because it came with like 5 mags, so it was cheaper to buy that and sell the gun on with like 1 or 2 mags than it was to buy a few new mags. So that worked out quite well. But I recommend the non-fixed foregrip version because it's better if you're trying to put it in a pouch or sort of a side holster or anything like that. Just because you haven't got the foregrip there, so you can sort of take that off if you need to. I mean, I can get this in a large sort of pistol holster.
I was going to say, yeah, because looking, I'm trying to imagine your Glock 17 overlaid on that, and I mean, obviously,
it's not really too different in size.
It's not a great deal of difference. I mean, it's slightly chunkier, but but overall, it doesn't look like, oh my god, look at the size. It's like a massive. That's a really small, compact SMG, isn't it?
Yeah.
Ideal, that is, mate. Perfect. Another great secondary for a sniper.
Yeah. I mean, the only downside with this is that the mags are very heavy. So the mags weigh. I don't know what they weigh, but they are. You're carrying a load of these, and they're not high capacity. So the little short ones, I think, are 20 rounds each.
Right. Okay.
So it's probably comparable to a pistol, in that sense. But yeah, the longer mags are, I think they're 50 rounds. So it's not ideal from like a high capacity point of view, but
yeah, I guess it's going to be difficult if you're going up against someone who's got sort of like 5, 6, 120 round mid caps on them.
Yeah,
it's going to make it more difficult. But if you was at an event with some more stricter, more realistic ammo limits, so i.e. 30 round cap mags, and you've got 20 round ones there, and it's sort of come into its own a little bit there, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I mean, the sound of this is terrifying, though. That's the main thing.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to having a squeezing.
I'll let you have a little pop at it on AI.
Oh, it's very kind of you, sir. I wasn't going to ask, you know.
Yeah, that's fine.
To be offered.
So moving on now to sort of M4 sort of style, sort of. These are kind of mid-range, kind of short to reasonably long, I guess.
Yeah, there's the old girl. Bless her heart. She's on top of the hill now. She's just starting to go down the other side of it. Yeah, that's my Bolt B4 LRP sock mod. Christmas present from the wife about 4 years ago. I'm going to say, I think, yes, probably 4, maybe 5 Christmases ago now. It's had a full internal upgrade, Prometheus, bits and bobs, tight bore barrel, op unit. It's got the oh bugger, I forgot the name of it. Is it the Sportline Pro Max? The gold alley mold hop unit, which did come with a little internal trace that you could bolt on there. But I kindly donated that to my teammate Dan, who'd lost his one when it broke. So now I had my Ace Tech trace unit on the end of that, so I didn't want the internal one. So I gave him that. But yeah, it's had full upgrade on the inside. It fires FPS wise. When was it last chronoed now? I think it's like 306, 307. So it's a little bit under, obviously, the 350 you can have. It does need a bit of work. The range on it's really good. I'm happy with the range on it. The only problem I've got with it at the moment is that every now and again on semi, it'll fire a 3-round burst, which is a little bit annoying. So I've got to send it over to Giuseppe. He's going to have a look at it for me. What I'd like to do is actually have it for the fire selector for safe, semi, and 3-round burst.
Yep.
That's what I'd rather than having safe, semi, and full. I'd rather have the full auto changed to a 3-round burst, and I know that's going to require a MOSFET, so I might have to buy another Titan gate. Get that bad boy whacked in there, and yeah, like I said, send it over to the Night Professor. She's got plenty of life left, and I'm not giving that one her yet. Yeah. She's battered, absolutely battered, that gun. But it's all, you know, it's all cosmetic batterings. You know, she can handle pressure. My fat ass falling on top of it now and again. It's always good. I'm sure it's made of rubber because I've fallen against that thing which should have snapped, and I'm sure it just bends. It goes and comes back again. Yeah. But yeah, it's great fun.
We're going to shoot around corners now.
Oh, don't. Yeah. Yes, it's a great bit of kit. Great bit of kit with my homemade suppressor covers for my yoke straps.
I was just going to say the homemade suppressor covers. I do need to.
I'll bring one along. I'll fashion you one during the AI 500 event, so you'll have it.
But I'm just thinking it would be quite nice. I mean, it's not on the picture here, but the suppressor on that, quite nice with like a little cheeky suppressor cover on the front of that.
I could do a matte black one for you. Yeah, not a problem. Yeah. Leave it with me. Give me some measurements. Measure the suppressor. Let me know. I'll make you one.
It's quite girthy.
Plenty of girth to it. Is it a standard girth or is it a suppressor?
No, it's a thick girth. It's a chunky suppressor.
Ooh.
Yeah.
My yoke might not be able to handle your girth, then, Mike. Unfortunately.
Yeah. Welcome to the Weird and Wonderful Musings of November Foxtrot. So what attachments have you got on there? You've got a few bits and pieces.
Underneath, obviously, that's a standard suppressor on the front. Let's start from the front and work our way back. So I've got a standard suppressor on the front, and what it is actually the shell of the suppressor. Because what I found is with the little Ace Tech tracer unit, with about 2 and a bit layers of sniper tape, it will actually just sit almost like an air seal inside a suppressor, the standard size one. So that's been trimmed down. I've got the Ace Techs actually inside that, so it's double protected. Although I think the Ace Tech's already waterproof in that. So inside that as well, it goes right to the end of that, all the way to the tip. Sits in there nicely. So that's just like a mocked up suppressor with my Ace Tech tracer unit and that inside it.
Is the tracer unit like glued in or like
No,
screwed
it's
in, or
just
is it
sits in
literally
it.
just push fit?
Where I've got the tracer unit, bit of sniper tape round it. I've got that outer metal suppressor cover, if you like. It literally just slides over it. It just sits so snug. And to take it off, you literally just twist it counterclockwise, so you're not undoing the tracer unit. It just slides. It's just such a nice little fit. I was just fannying about one day. You know what I'm like for upcycling and refusing to throw things away unless I can make something else out of it. In my little scrap heap challenge mode gets turned on up in the loft. I'm like, oh yeah, I could do this. Save some money. Be a tight ass as usual, not buy something that's perfectly fit for the job. And I was like, oh, wicked, that fits in there. You know, a couple of little layers of tape, yeah, a bit of sniper tape, I'll make loads of stuff out of sniper tape. Brilliant. You know, so that's the suppressor. So I couldn't tell you what I think it was God, I can't remember now. Donkey's years old. A Newt Pro one or something, not expensive, about 25 quid for just an old suppressor. When you open it up, it had a spring in there with a bit of foam. I was like, yeah, it's going to do the job. So yeah, I used that, the offcuts of it on the front there, and obviously there's the yoke strap there, cut down, slid over, paracorded up, glued all the knots, singed all the frayed bits, give it a little bit of rattle can treatment, and that was that job done. Pec box is an FMA off of Wish for 40 quid. Again, that's probably 5-6 years old. It's never failed me. It's still brilliant. It's one of those things from Wish that actually fucking works. So yeah, well happy with that. That is what it is. It's got IR, white light. It's got a red laser dot, which a lot of sites don't let you use, but I never use it. I literally just use it for the tack light because it's so bright. It's really good. And I've got obviously my holographic on the top, which again I think is an FMA holographic sight, which is about £60. I think I picked that up in Crawley Surplus, I believe, long time ago. But actually, that's my first ever sight. Is it on that one or is it on the? Yeah, that one there. I've got a newer one which is on my 249 of exactly the same brand. It's just newer. But that's my original. It's still going strong now. So that's my. But I am changing that setup soon. I'm getting the. It's a replica of the aim point, like the the DMR sniper in Black Hawk Down with the M14.
Yeah.
Where the chopper gets downed and there's two guys defending the pilot who's injured. His aim point. There's a New Zealand SAS operator. He's like got big black hair, big beard, and he's got like an M4 setup. It's not got a suppressor or nothing on it. It's like a standard M4 model, like a Colt Commando sort of type thing. But it's got the carry handle and it's got its aim point in front of it, or what looks very similar to an aim point. And I really like the look of that purely for the aesthetics. But having had this arrangement where you've got like an iron sight, but then you've got the added red dot or holographic crosshairs if you wanted to, actually works for me really, really well. I actually like the use of that. Do you know what I mean? So you can either have the screen on or off, your red dot on or off, or use your iron sights. So you're capable of doing both things. Yeah, and I really like the look. So that will be changed soon to like an aim point style sight.
Mm-hmm.
And other than that, yeah, it's the single point sling. I do run my an SA80 sling on there now and again, but I've sort of gone back to using just a single clip-on sling onto my rig with that now. And it's relatively light, really, as well for what it is. It's actually quite a nice light rifle. It's not one that's like, this is proper heavy. It's got a bit of weight to it, but nothing like. I mean, my MP5's heavier than that, oddly enough. And that's with them attachments on there as well. My MP5 will be heavier to me. Well, it feels heavier to me.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, mate. Yeah,
it's nice. It is nice.
She just needs a little bit of work doing to her to keep her ticking over nicely. Yeah.
See, I've got a so mine's the M4 New Pro Defender. This is the one that I got for 25 quid. It is so light. It fires very well, and it's just lovely. like you sort of think for 25 quid it's going to be a bit naff. The only fault I would have with it is that the front handguard, because it's plastic, it's a little bit flexy in a few places.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't really notice that unless you're fitting attachments on and off of it. Yeah, I must admit, I do like a little short run. Yeah.
That's lovely, mate. That's nice. I see you.
I haven't really got loads to say about it. Other than it was a £25 cheap gun.
Is that a tracer unit on the front there? Or is that just a little mock suppressor?
No, so that's just a tiny suppressor. I just liked the look of it over the sort of the open flash suppressor, the flash hider that came with it. So that's just sprayed up as well. And then attached on the side, I've got a Claris XT10. I think it is the torch.
Nice.
So that's quite nice. The little tack trigger is just on the other side of that. But it's just a shortish little rifle. I can run around with that quite easily.
I love that.
Andy,
I love that under grip as well. You've got the foregrip there, the angled one.
Yeah, this is the thing, because so a lot of M4s, I was finding I was holding them basically by the magwell. And I tried it with a bipod on it, not a bipod, a foregrip on it for a little while. But the little angle foregrip means that I can just hold it in a lot more sort of close proximity. You don't end up with like chicken wing going on as well.
Yeah, with my one, I used to have like a complete like a vertical foregrip, like your normal, just hold on to it like that. And I found I'd always resort back to holding behind the magwell, but with having that there, I've sort of forced myself now, and I actually do use that a lot better. Do you know what I mean? Than I would a vertical grip. And I've also found as well, if that was if you imagine the rear part of that grip, you can actually, if you wanted to, at times, if you want to bring your hand back a little bit more, you can push towards it. Do you know what I mean? So you're still open-handed, but you can still sort of control your RIF a lot better. So it's sort of a multi-purpose thing, really.
Yeah, I mean just on the front of that as well, the little kind of vertical drop that it's got right under the torch. That's quite good if you want to set it on a windowsill or something like that. So if you're trying to get something a little bit more of a steady shot, you've kind of got a little bit of a perch there. But Andy actually gave it a go when we were at Okto, and he said, it was like holding air. It's such a light little weapon. It's ideal just for running around.
Yeah, nice, mate. Nice.
So in terms of other attachments, the sight on the top I don't really use a lot. I, for the most part, just literally run it. I say iron sight, so that it does have like a little front fold up sight that goes on there. But for the most part, it just literally running around with it. So.
Yeah, it's a nice.
That's all I've got to say. It's I don't know what's in it. I don't know what's been done to it. It just works.
If it works, do not touch it.
Yeah. Especially says have a look at the Hera Arms CQR front grip. I find it very easy to handle. See, this is the thing. As I'm sort of hesitant to spend any more money on it because, as Andy says, the grip actually cost more than the entire RIF.
That's brilliant. That's when you know you've got a bargain. When the attachment, one attachment costs more than the entire rifle.
I mean, the torch, genuinely, the torch is 5 times more expensive than I got that entire RIF for.
That's a mental situation to be in, isn't it?
Yeah. Which is crazy. But Danny, I didn't realise Danny had one of these. He said, my first Pew, wish I never got rid of it. They are just lovely. And I don't think they're overly expensive, but this is the thing I'm finding with a lot of airsoft guns is that ultimately, if you get a nice little platform and you get someone that can sort of tech it up and sort of fine tune it, then ultimately you can have the lightest body on it and just have like amazing internals, and you've got a nice lightweight platform. Because whilst it's fun having like the big hefty, I mean, Andy runs with like a 20 kilogram LMG, and it's fun running around with that. But ultimately, it does put a drain on you over time. And I would imagine a lot of soldiers, if they ever had the opportunity to lighten their kit, then they're going to do that. So, if you gave a serving soldier a weapon choice between one that's 5 kilograms lighter than another one, they're going to pick the 5 kilogram light one because it means that they can run around with it a little bit more.
Fight light, isn't it? That's the whole mantra for the sort of British Army's heading towards the fight light sort of system with the new PLCE stuff. All the Vortex kit now, it's all designed for fight light and things like that. Quick wicking, this, that, and the other bits and bobs. Gone are the days of the old heavy duty canvas stuff.
Yeah, which brings me on to my CM16. So this was actually the first airsoft rifle that I bought from scratch from new. I had it kicking around. I didn't really use it a lot. It's pretty much a polymer body up until the handguard, which is then metal. The stock's all plastic. The buffer tube's metal, but for the most part, it's just a lightweight airsoft rifle. And it was kicking around, and I really wanted a DMR. So I was looking around, and I was like, well, I could either spend a load of money getting a DMR, of which potentially you'd have to tech up anyway, or I could use the SRXL, which is what this is, and basically get it modded. And this is the result of that. So this is lovely as well. The only thing I've found with this is that I've managed to spray paint over the sight.
What, over the lens?
Yeah. So when I was running around with it at Okto, I had a slight issue because I couldn't see out of it. And I was like,
Oh, so
it must be
have we got a
fogging up.
confession of a bit of blind firing going on? Is that what, is that what we're saying?
No, it wasn't blind firing because I actually went and swapped it out because I was finding that I wasn't really getting any action with it. But I had a combination of paint on the lens and it was just fogging up. Basically, it was so cold out there. So
Paint on the lens and shut in the wrong eye. I cannot see through this. Oh, well, wrong eye shut. Sorry.
So yeah, I've fixed that now, and the sight's a lot better. So I'm hoping to get this out a little bit more. I've used a little short, stubby M4 mag in this as well. I think it's like a PTS, little short, stubby ones.
Like little P mags.
Yeah.
Nice.
But this is lovely. I absolutely love this rifle now. I didn't really use it before, and I guess it's that kind of, I don't know. A lot of airsofters I see kind of like, oh, we're just going to go and get a new one, like go and get a new one and tweak it and stuff like that. Whereas sometimes you can just repurpose your old stuff.
I've always thought that. I mean, I don't know if it's me just being a tight ass. It's probably me being a tight ass, I'm honest. But it's like the whole buying a rifle, which is X amounts of hundreds of pounds. I'm sort of talking plus 400 quid, maybe 350, 400, and then having it upgraded. I don't get. For me as a customer, I'd expect if I'm paying that sort of money for a rifle, I'd expect it to do what I want it to do out of the box for that sort of money. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if that's maybe I'm on my own with that one. I get people want to mod their guns, and and a gun that costs sort of 500-600 quid after a couple of 3 years, parts will inevitably perhaps go wrong or break or something will happen at an event and your part need to be changed. That's fair enough. But from going from like getting a £500 gun out of the box and then going, I'm going to put 250 quid's worth of parts in this now. To me, that just it's like it doesn't make sense to do that. So if I was to do that, I'd spend, get 150 quid on a base platform, that's either a full metal body or whatnot. If you're going to rip the guts out of it, it doesn't really matter what the internals are like. As long as it's got a hard shell body, as long as that's all sound and the construction's sound, then if you're going to whack a load of aftermarket parts in here, then, it doesn't matter what's in there. If it's a shit motor or gearbox made out of cheese, it doesn't really matter because you're going to change it all.
No, exactly.
So,
I mean, this rifle I think cost me about 100 quid when I bought it new, and then I'll be honest with you, I'm not 100% convinced I know what all these things are. But the gun tech put in a gate tighten MOSFET, double O-ring CNC cylinder head, reinforced piston head, full metal teeth piston, an AOE, ASG 22K high torque motor, 18-1 steel gear set, ASG M125 spring, double O-ring nozzle, Evolution Airsoft bushings, SHS ARL, don't know what that is, Prometheus purple hot bucking, flat hot retro arms, CNC, ZCI 6.2 type bore barrel, shimming regrease, full service, and it now fires 446 feet per second on 0.2, which when you basically rank it up, works fine. But I spent 360 quid on that rifle to get that to where it is now, and it's fucking banging, absolutely banging. So yeah, I mean, ultimately, I think the bipod legs as well. That was an aftermarket thing. They're the Arrows Amoeba M-Lock bipods, which you might note that it's a key mod system and not an M-Lock. I didn't realize that when I bought them. So I've managed to make that work with a lot of jiggery pokery and some screw fix. Screw thread lock. So yeah, that's all fine now.
It's smart. It's a smart looking gun, mate. I like it. I like the pistol grip as well.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's just nice to run around with. So yeah. There's just a couple of things came in. John to talk about. John Connor Jennings said, out of the L85A2 compared to the GPMG, sorry, I prefer the L85, and the Vertis gear is shit apart from the plate carrier.
Yeah, I heard that a lot, mate.
James C says Fight Light has been binned as people took the piss out of it. Now it's Fight Right.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you where I can tell you a story about that, which my brother-in-law told me about the whole Fight Light. Is these fucking things, right? So these are bivvy slippers or basher, or what I mean, these are army issued ones, which I've got. And they got taken off of the boys on an exercise because literally they were essentially cutting around the harbour area at night and during the day just in these, getting into contacts and stuff like that. And obviously the instructor staff on the exercise have like, right, fucking had enough of this now. Hand them in, all of you. Put your fucking boots back on because no, everyone was literally just cutting around in bivvy slippers. You know, GPMG's firing. He's looked down and he's got his fucking bivvy slippers on, and his boots are just at his basher. He's just so comfortable and warm. He's like, right, no, that's it. You've blown it. You've taken the piss. Give them back. So yeah, it's definitely quite right now. Then that's the order of the day. But I see I've seen a fair few pictures recently. Like obviously, you got Forces News and stuff like that, and I know there was talk about phasing out webbing sets, but you just see belt kits everywhere still. Is that an option? Is that I don't know if anyone who's currently serving or recently demobbed or whatnot, but I mean, that's what I heard, is that they were trying to phase out the whole webbing set and doing obviously like fight right thing now with like assault pack plate carriers or whatnot. But everyone's still cutting about with webbing sets and belt kits, so I don't get it. I love a webbing set, don't get me wrong. Just curious. Yeah. A timeless piece.
James C said, Lance, rest assured you're very much not on your own there. I don't get TM owners who buy a 500 quid RIF to spend another £600 on it.
Yeah, I mean, again, yeah, I mean, not just TM guys. You know, Crytax, you know, they're not a cheap rifle in the slightest. Do you know what I mean? You can get, I mean, like upwards. You start getting into the 2.4, not the LMG territories. You know, you're not going to get one much cheaper than sort of 450.
Yeah, I can appreciate if you're spending money to get something that's got like an extra feature, so like the blowback systems or something like that. Like,
yeah.
But I mean, there's cheaper versions of those. Obviously, you got like the bolt as well as like TM and stuff like that. So,
I mean, all my stuff's bolt. I mean, my M4's bolt, my DMR's a bolt, is modelled on a bolt, and the blowback systems in them have been fucking spot on. I love them. I love a bolt blowback system. The BRSS. It's good. Was it the bolt?
Except the charging handles tend to fall off, don't they?
The charging handles tend to fall off if you don't put the fucking spring back in to hold it in place. Yeah. Me being impatient and just wanted it in there because it looks nice. There you go. So if anyone's got a bolt charging handle, send it my way with her. There she is.
So that's your DMR.
That's my DMR. So that is that's the Bolt Mark 12 Mod 1. I should have sent you a picture of what it originally looked like actually before I looked at that. And what I've done is I've modelled that on the L129 Alpha British Army sniper support weapon, or SSW. It's very, very close to it. The only thing that it's not got is obviously the optic is a locker for like 0.22 shooting. It's got a wicked field of view. It's crystal clear. I can't tell you the name of it because I sprayed over it. So I don't know. And I'm not picking the paint off. I'm going to let it flake off on its own. So one day I will reveal what that optic's made by. But yeah, so it should have an ACOG on there, but it's not got one. So, and I'm not going to spend that for, because if I was going to put an ACOG on there, it'd be a proper jobby. But I do love that scope. It's nice and comfortable. It did have higher risers on it, so it did sit quite high off the body originally, off the top receiver. So I got some low profile. What do we call scope mounts? Scope mounts. That's it. Mounts. I was trying to think of them. So some low profile mounts. So which will enable me to still see underside it, and obviously there's a flip up sight there, so I can just about use a flip up sight ish. But yeah, it's a wicked bit of kit. I love that. Suppressor at the front there is, again, it's just a Nuprol tracer unit, but it's the long version I used to have, which you take 3 AA batteries. It's very old, but it's a full metal body, and it's purely just there for aesthetics. It makes no difference to the sound of the rifle at all. It's just purely there for the look. Again, homemade suppressor cover, yoke strap, bit of paracord and rattle can. SA80 sling in desert tan with a Picatinny mounted rail sling on the side. Sling loop on the side there. The standard bipod, not the Smith & Bender one, because that's about £5 million. It's just about 25 quid off of eBay, that one. But I made it dirty, so it looks expensive. Because if it's too black and shiny, it looks really cheap.
Yeah.
So yeah, it looks expensive now because I fucked it up a bit. I've got a list of what was done to it, which I'll quickly skim over. So what I wanted, because obviously it's got the blowback system and then the recoil, I wanted to keep that. I didn't want to get rid of that, so I had to have the gearbox and the housing modded to allow for the piston to fly back and still create that blowback, which is still there. It's wicked. I love it. So G&G gearbox shell, $39.99. ZCI HT motor, 8-in-1 gear set, retro arms, CNC rotary hop unit. The hop unit in this is wicked. I think you've got the same one in yours, Mike. CNC rotary hop unit, and it's so stiff, but it's micro adjustable, and there's no chance of it, because obviously the recoil in that, the one I've also found it in my MP5 as well, or a few MP5s, is like after a few rounds, especially if you've got that slidey hop adjuster, it will track forward or track backwards, and you'll see your rounds starting to fly off, and that's what it is. It's the recoil. Well, it's the firing, the force of the firing the weapon. Where it's so loose. So I found like my MP5 where I had the arm, just put a little bit of glue tack, a little bead of glue tack on the back of it, just so it makes the arm just sit slightly off at an angle, so it won't move basically. Best thing to do with that. Or once you're happy with it, super glue it in place, or a bit of Loctite or silicone or something like that. But yeah, so the hop unit on this is nice and stiff, so it's hard to adjust. But once it is adjusted, it's going to stay where it should be and not fuck about. So you haven't got to worry about it again. Once you set that, it's set. So that's good as gold. Yeah, Prometheus hop rubbers, Prometheus type bore barrel, Prometheus hop tensioner, Evo Airsoft 8mm bushings, the Gate Titan rear wired MOSFET, anti-reversal latch, ASG ultimate cylinder, full size, G&G G2 tappet plates, AOE correction, gearbox customized to fit the bolt recoil and the reinforced bolt piston head, shimming, re-grease, bits and bobs like that. And that was, I think I paid 400 quid all in for that. And that's
it's quite amusing. It's if you actually compare our two DMRs, they're very similar. But I think it's the same guy that's worked on them both.
Yeah, so that's including the base rifle, which I got secondhand. All the internals of the base rifle were knackered, so it was literally there was no gearbox in there or anything. It was I essentially just bought an outer shell with a couple of little bits with it. That's all I got. So it was a full internal build. So including the base layer, it's about 400 quid. Is what I paid. But it's fucking a DMR rifle. You'd spend 450 on a brand new one, and then you'd mod it. So that's got the best of everything in it, in my eyes. Do you know what I mean? I mean, it's just fucking. It's laser. It really is good. And it's just fun to use because it's still got that recoil. You know, it's not ultra quiet. You know, if I shoot it, you will hear me. But I love it. It's fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's really good at shearing earpieces.
shearing earpieces at 65, 70 meters is. I could when I heard it. Oh my! It's in my ear. Oh! I was like, oh dear. Have I literally shot him in the fucking ear? But then I found out it wasn't. So I was less cross with myself.
That's fine. That's good.
But yeah, that's a great fun rifle to use. Obviously, solid stock at the back. Big old chamber there for the Titan battery to sit in and power the machine, which I haven't charged since being to Okto.
Oh, have you not? Excellent.
Like I said, I fully charged it before I went to Okto. Used it through the Okto event. It's now sitting in its battery safety bag, waiting for the SEO MilSim, which is second to last weekend of March. It will then be at the Legion Airsoft event the following weekend, and I'm just going to see how long I can go with it.
Yeah. NoFo doing the science, so you don't have to.
We are putting in the man hours to bring you the science.
So I was going to move on to LMGs because I'm conscious of the time. So this is my GMP Stoner. This is yet to have any rattle can treatment, and it's only because I'm a little bit hesitant to do so because I do like the original look.
It's a very sexy looking rifle, that is.
I do love it. So this has the ability of semi or full auto. I think it fires about 18 rounds a second, so it's not the fastest rate of fire. Danny says, "Can I hold it?" But yeah, I mean I really love this rifle. It's one of the lighter LMGs that you can get. I think this weighs about 6 to 7 kilos, which, you know, again, in sort of comparison to the in comparison to some of the sort of the M249s, the ANK like that, it's obviously a lot lighter. I've had a bit of work done to this as well. Nothing major, to be fair. Just kind of like tweaking it here and there. I've had a new MOSFET put in it. The only downside I would say to this rifle is that the box mags are a bit of a pain in the arse. The box mags themselves are about £100 a go, which is fairly expensive for a box mag. But then because it's effectively gravity fed, in that it just drops in the top. So as soon as you disconnect the magazine, you just get a load of BBs start flying out all over the place. Because obviously the mag is winding up, so it's sort of gearing those up ready to go. So that would probably be the only flaw with it. The major advantage I found recently is adding the pop out foregrip. That's been an absolute game changer in terms of, it's really nice to have a foregrip on there anyway. I've previously run it with a bipod. I think it's like the sort of the cheap Wish eBay kind of bipods, and I used to use those as a bit of a foregrip. So I just fold one arm down and then running around with it like a foregrip. But this makes an absolute difference because it gives you the bipod capability, but it means I can actually carry it in a whole new way as well. I can just sort of sling it down so that the buttstock is basically by my feet, so I can carry it almost like a shopping bag, which, you know, just
and
makes
that's
it
a real
easy to
steel
carry.
foregrip as well, Mike, in it.
It is, yeah.
They're lovely. I've got one of them myself. They are solid polymer, but solid, really good.
Mm.
And that came into its own the other week at Okto. Didn't I see a few pictures of you with that deployed?
It did.
Yes.
The only problem was I had at Okto, it was the magazine. I went to change the 9-volt battery in the magazine. That's the whole story about why I'm called 9-volt Airsoft. And I've managed to shear off the battery connector. Like the battery connector's just in pieces. So I need to rewire that at some point. I'm probably going to try and change it up to a Dean's fitting potentially, or something a little bit easier to disconnect. And maybe just change it to from a 9-volt battery. But the box mags are almost so proprietary, and they're so small and sort of finicky. It's not very easy to kind of adapt on that front, which is a bit of a pain. But I absolutely love the gun. It's just, it's nice.
And what brand? And who's that made by, Mike?
This is GMP. So I can't remember the price of it. I got it years ago. This was, I think, probably like the second gun I ever bought. And I'd been talking. So there was a guy that was sort of offering. There was some company I was speaking to, and the guy there was like, "So what sort of gun do you want?" I don't really know. I want like an LMG, but it to be light. I also want it to be nice. I want a like high rate of fire. And he was like, "Oh, have you thought about this?" And I looked this up, and I was like, "That's spot on for what I need." Now I know Fresh Meats just said real gunners don't do semi, and I completely agree. But having the capability to switch to semi and then moving to buildings, you know, you can't beat it. You know, I mean, ultimately, okay.
Fresh Meat, what do you know?
Yeah, having a support gunner just hold like covering the outside of a building's fine. But if you need to pile into a building quickly, you know, I haven't got a faff about trying to get off sidearm out. I can literally just swap it over.
Yeah, that's it. You tell him, Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's your
talking to you.
Actually, just quickly, I must say, I'd like to thank Fresh Meat for his help last night with charging my box mag up. I'll take all that back.
How did he solve it in the end?
No, not at all. Rubbish. He solved his problem, but my one, I don't know. See, I can't really show that, but yeah, it's the new A&K 1500 round box mag. I'm having. If anyone knows when you know it's charging, let me know, because I don't know. If you know what I mean. So I plug it in. There's a red light on the USB end, and then as soon as I plug it connected to the box mag. Sorry, Mike, I'm hijacking your LMG segment.
No, that's fine.
The light goes off, and then it might come back on. It might not. If it does, sometimes it's bright. Sometimes it's dim but blinking really quickly. I don't know. I don't know what to do. So I need help. Anyone help me? Anyone at all? Back to you, Mike. Carry on.
No, that's fine. I know Andy says not your role as a support gunner, let the assault boys do the hard work. I completely agree. But ultimately, if you are there on your own, which I have been for some of it,
LMG friend.
Yeah, you know, it just gives you that capability. And also it means I can run around with 3 or 4 other LMG gunners. I can be the assault LMG, and then the other LMGs can be the support gunners.
I reckon you should spray it peanut butter brown.
Oh, I might do that. I'm tempted to spray it up sort of similar colour schemes to the other one.
And then pebble dash it with peanuts. For texture purposes.
I have also got the S&T M249, which I have actually got sprayed up, and it does look quite nice. But I need to get that teched up. I ran that at at the National Airsoft Festival, and it wasn't really where I wanted it to be in terms of the range and the like. So I need to get that kind of spruced up a little bit before I start using it. And I didn't want to kind of talk about it tonight because I've not really had a chance to properly run around with it. But this one I've used again for many years. It's never really let me down. It's perfect in every way, except for the magazines, which are expensive and a bit of a pain in the arse, and there's nowhere to mount a sling point, so that's my crude adapter on the stock. But other than that, it's great.
Oh, that is great. Other than that, is essentially the Mary Poppins of airsoft rifles.
But you have an M2 like a proper M249. I can't remember what make yours is.
Mine's a Classic Army 249. Lovely bit of kit. Picked this up secondhand, and it's had nothing done to it. The only thing I've had that's gonna be a lie. The only thing I've done to that was I removed the only thing I've done to that is remove the scaffold tube of a barrel that was in there. Do you know what I mean? It was essentially an old brass. God knows what. The barrel I took out of that, the original barrel, which must be 15 years old, wouldn't look out of place hung above a fireplace. A lovely bit of brass. Do you know what I mean? I could put a little brush on there and literally just sweep the half of it. It was perfect. So I put a mad ball type bore in there, new hot rubber, new nub, and it's just been absolute laser.
Was this the one that was in Black Hawk Down?
I don't know. That's what I was told. Because backstory is, a friend of mine, a friend of a friend had a quite severe, I think it was either a car or motorbike accident, which left him paralysed. And obviously he got paid quite a substantial amount of money for it. I don't know the full story, but this is what I've heard. And he purchased a film props company. And part of the sale was 3 shipping containers full of extras and sort of background rifles. And rather than getting replicas of real stills, or it was cheaper for film companies to use airsoft rifles. So he had 4 M177 armor lights that were used in the Green Zone with Matt Damon, and this 249 for sale, which I sort of bit his arm off, and I sold on the 177s because I didn't need 3 177s because I had an M4 on that already. I had my MP5, and I really wanted to keep hold of this, and I was being told, you've got too much stuff. I was like, okay.
Perennial point.
Yeah. So I kept hold of this. Now, from what I was told, this was used as a background weapon in Black Hawk Down, or potentially the scene where the guy goes deaf. But I don't know if that is off, because I'm sure they both got M60s in that scene. I don't know. But apparently it was used in, it's still got the sound of Mogadishu in there or something. But I don't know. I've got nothing to back that up with. That's what I was told. But there we go. So I think it was. It's nice to think that.
Yeah, it's cool.
Because it's a wicked movie. But yeah, that's my beast. I added the Picatinny on the top receiver because it didn't have one. It just had the standard iron sight. Big old chunky boy. So had one hole in there already, which a M5 Allen key threaded bolt would fit through nicely. I drilled one more to secure the Picatinny rail, and then I'd silicon the inside and the outside, stop any water ingress. Done the job fine. There is a massive hole just up from where the hole I drilled and siliconed, which lets the fake rounds come in. So there's water ingress there. But for the hole I made, you will not get water for it.
Yeah.
Just I'll put that out there. All right. So regardless of there being a massive hole, open magwell bit for water to come in, the little hole I drilled, no water. And yeah, all I've done is, like I said, it's a type ball barrel, hot rubber. There's the standard. It's the original motor in there, the original gearbox, original gear set. Everything's original in that, apart from the barrel and the little bits of rubber. So yeah, it's a beast. I love it. I did take off the top front foregrip part because I thought it looked a little bit GPMG-ish without that bit on it. But then I put it back on because I was scared of losing it. And when it comes to me, I can lose anything in the airloft. You know, I lost a big shiny sheet the other day. My Mylar blanket, I lost it in the loft. I was like, how can you lose
Find
it
again?
I found it, yeah. I mean, essentially, it's like the wing off a satellite. It's this huge shiny sheet. How the fuck can you lose it in amongst a load of camouflage stuff? It's beyond me, but I did it. So there we go. Yeah, so I thought, no, this is going to go back on because I'm not only going to lose the little pin underneath the front iron sight that holds that in, I'm just going to lose the whole lot. So I'll put it back on. Yeah, but it's a great bit. I've got the two box mags there, the standard that come with it. Again, that's been held together with sniper tape and 8 layers of paint. And the new A&K box mag there, which I'm yet to test because I tried to test it at Okto and the battery was flat. I wasn't sure if it was charging up or not, so I just give up in the end. And went back to the DMR. But what I did do with the original box mag, the 2300 round box mag, was mounted a rocker switch on the face of the box mag that faces you. So you do have the switches on the underside of it, which is if you're prone, it's a bit of a ball ache unless you've got the bipod deployed. So I fitted the little rocker switch on the front, which literally winds and turns off.
You can just about see it on the side of the.
You can just see there. It's IP rated, so it's got a nice silicone flexible cover over it, so it is waterproof to an extent. So you literally just flick on, box mag starts winding, flick off, and it doesn't. So when you start engaging, flick it on. It's quite simple. You know, you've got one hand there. 9 times out of 10, I'm either going to be prone or leaning on something. So I've got the other hand sort of spare to operate that rocker switch. And it just works really well, you know, rather than having them switches underneath, which you can get snapped off or whatnot. They've just got a nice good covering of duct tape and some sniper tape at the bottom there just to keep them secured. And obviously that new switch is installed there on the side of the box mag facing me as I'm looking at it, if you know what I'm saying. So yeah, just a simple on off. Box mag winds, box mag doesn't, and that's it. Yeah, still got the carry handle on there.
I do like a self-winding box mag more.
Yeah, it's beautiful, isn't it?
Bit of contention
to the carry handle. There's a lot of people take them carry handles off. Mine's on there. Mine's remaining in place. I don't care what people say. Original bipod. No plans to add the tactical front foregrip with the Picatinny systems and that on it. I just want to keep it as it is. You know, it's just I don't need to add any more weight to this fucking thing. It's unbelievable as it is already. So yeah, that's a good bit of fun. That is lots of fun. Lots of fun to be had.
And you just said Ball Gear box mag. Thanks, our representative from Ball Gear.
Yeah, send me one, Andy. Let me test it out before I take the plunge.
So I'm conscious of the time. I'm just going to skip on to the last one. So Lance and I both have different with different mortars. Yours is different to mine. Yeah, fundamentally they do the same thing.
They do. That's just an old bipod which I had for my M14 a long time ago, which me and my friend Dan spot welded to the outer tube, obviously, of the mortar, just to keep the basically the muzzle out the ground. Once you got it set, then you can essentially just drop rounds down it. It's sort of self-contained, sort of static firing position. It's modelled on the 38mm paramortar, British infantry paramortar. A lot of the models now, it's essentially a capped off scaffold tube which has been filed and obviously deburred on the inside with a really long wire brush on an 18-volt drill, just keeps cleaning out all the little burrs and filed out, so it's nice and smoothie, and that's a wicked bit of fun. Not the most accurate bit of kit in the world, however, if it's a nice calm day and it's not too much of a breeze, you can drop rounds on, walk rounds onto a target, which is good fun. And we like them, don't we, mate? The whole team.
I love it. I mean, it definitely, they aren't as accurate as the tag rounds and stuff like that. But you do get a lot more directional sort of targeting with the tag rounds. But there is something to be had about the massive bang as it goes.
The bang, the cord eye, the smell. Yeah. It's the fun factor for it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's bloody good fun. That's what it is. Yeah. Regardless of it, it's not on target. Well, fucking fire another one.
Yeah.
Let's get more rounds down.
And you do just hear the cash till ringing every time you fire it, because I think they're like £7 a round or something.
Yeah, there is a cha-ching.
Yeah.
But yeah, wicked fun.
But they are just great fun.
And it's an immersion element in it to it for an event, especially at night time. I mean, Christ alive, at night time they're brilliant.
If you get to see one firing, they're just good fun for that. I know there's plenty of videos around. If you're interested, I think we've got one on the Punishers Instagram. I know Okto have got some on their videos that Harry has put together. because I was firing that one.
I'm sure there's someone on our team page on Instagram. The Punishers Everyone Free team page. There's someone there. There's someone on the Facebook page as well, of it being shot at the SF base at Longmoor at night. And there's a few when we did Darkwater with Darkwater. Who hosted that one? Was that SEO?
I think so.
Bloody hell. Do you know what I think it might have been? That might have been my first SEO event, was Darkwater. At the old quarry thing. Bloody Nora. There we go then.
Rage makes a good point. It says tags are the same cost point as the mortar rounds. I think they're different things for different types of game, really. I mean, I would say the mortar,
I think it's the initial setup
you're
for
not
tags.
going to be getting like a proper accurate system, are you?
Yeah, tag rounds are more accurate than that mortar all day long. I'd say from the years that we've been using that for. I mean, we've had them out for Christ knows 4. That's got to be 3 or 4 years old now, if not more. That mortar tube. But like the Rage said there, I know the round itself is probably the same price, but I think it's the initial outlay to set up for tags is a lot more than what that would be. Do you know what I mean?
It depends. If you buy one, I think the mortar tubes are like 150 quid. I know TLSFX, TSL, whatever. They sell their own mortar tube. But yeah, I mean, Rage makes the perfect point. Mortars are cool, but tags are a bit more.
I completely agree with that, mate.
Yeah,
completely agree with that. They're probably a lot more accurate, I'd say.
Yeah.
I think A full on boom. There's two explosives. Obviously, you've got the initial ignition to fire the round, and then you've got the secondary when it explodes. Whereas obviously the tag rounds, it's just a discharge of air, isn't it? CO2 or compressed air or something. So you're not going to have the same. But I can't take that away that the tag round is more accurate than the mortar round. So absolutely agree.
Cool. Right. Well, we'll probably better call it a day, and we've run on for far longer than we normally do. I do just want to come back to a couple comments that were made. So Danny said, "We love Andy Bob."
We love Andy Bob.
Chris said, "I bought an MTP source bladder recently."
Lad.
Cool.
Nicely done.
Andy said, "Sorry to interrupt, Mike. I'd check the NoFo email if I was you." So, Andy has very kindly put the this is Trangia together.
Oh, mate, that is spectacular.
It's absolutely banging. So we'll put that out on the socials because that's got to be shared.
Yeah.
So well done,
brilliant.
Andy.
Fair play.
Always comes through.
This is Trangia. And I'd like to add that Rage has got a better beard than King Leonidas does as well.
Yeah.
And a comms and a
much better, apparently.
Yeah, a better comset as well. Yeah,
he might very smooth legs.
It could have ended a lot better for the 300 if he'd had that comset.
Fresh Meat says my 249 cost 500. Then I put a £200 gearbox in it plus barrels and hop units. So yeah,
bloody Nora. Good whiz. There we go.
Talking of webbing and bits and pieces, James C says personal preference. I love webbing. Others I know hate it and love a shooter's belt and day sack.
Yeah, fair play. That's what I'm going to be running for the Legion event. Plate carrier, shooter's belt, and a little day sack, 17 litre. The Virtus Assault pack, funny enough, which I did slate originally, but then I realised it's actually a very good piece of kit. So I retracted my slatingness. So I do like that little bag. It's good.
John Jennings says what I just kept seeing was the webbing you get issued as soon as you got to battalion. Everyone was like, "Nah, get a fitted battle belt. Screw the webbing." So, fair enough. Talking of the M-lock to the key, M-lock to the key mod, why don't you just buy an adapter from Keylock? I did debate it. I just didn't want to spend more money. The Jimmy, I was going to say jimming it till I fix it, but that's probably not a good reference. I just bodged it basically, and it works fine, so I didn't have to spend any more money. So
love a bit of scrappy challenge, mate.
Yeah. Andy also said the thing with TM is that TM isn't actually that good out of the box. You're paying for the name, quality of the body, and only until recently there was the only good recoil system on the market. So you're paying for that extra little for the fun factor without having to go down the GBBR route. So, yeah.
I can't comment. I've never owned a TM, so I wouldn't be able to.
No, I've always envied purchasing one, but every time I seem to pick one up, they're always quite heavy. I'm kind of getting to the point now. I'm like, I don't necessarily want to carry around a massive gun for the sake of it. Like, I'm not.
You're reaching a certain time of life, mate. Yeah, you got to start.
I've got a few grey hairs starting to recede. So it's happening. That being said, so regardless, so this was the chap with the AK on the Polar Star.
That's terrifying, that AK.
Which it says, next game, hopefully I can bring my HPA SVD and we can go hunting. This guy has an AK, I think it was a 47, set up with a Polar Star, and it was fucking insane. Like, you pull the trigger, and literally, this was the one I think we talked about last week, the BB's just literally goes flying out. Dead accurate.
No noise. There is no... It's the quietest weapon, airsoft rifle I have ever heard fire. And I mean, like, from Mark 23 pistols and sniper rifles and things like that. This is... Yeah. It's literally... And there's barely any squeeze of the trigger.
Even on full auto, it was just like...
Yeah, it was just like, oh, this is quite... This could literally send me to sleep. I could just squeeze the trigger. And there was no pressure to the trigger. It was like a hair trigger, wasn't it? You literally go... Poof, and there was... Absolutely nothing. My God. We should have got a recording, just a sound recording, just to play. Yeah. Regardless, if you could do that, could you record your AK firing for us and possibly like Facebook us the just the audio of that firing, because it's incredible, absolutely incredible. Yes, I did like that. Lots of fun.
Yeah. Andy Bob saying that I did that with my MK46, bought it new and had it delivered to the tech, not even to my house, and then dumped another 300 quid into it.
Oh. You bad man.
Les says, Lance, that's what I need to do to my MP5, sort the hop adjuster out.
Yes, mate. Yeah, they can be funny little fuckers, especially with them sliding hops, which obviously run linear with the barrel, as opposed to having the adjustable wheel. You've got to either sort of, like I said, a little bead of glue tack down the between the hop arm adjuster and the outer barrel, just to put a little bit of pressure on it to stop it sliding. Just some way of fixing it in place, so when you're happy with what it's set and you're not going to change the weight of your BB, it's not going to shift them with the vibrations that run through the body, because that's what you'll find will happen. They're easy to adjust, don't get me wrong, which is great. You can literally fire and just and just move the arm in and out, which is wicked, because you can think, oh, that's bob on now, but as soon as you let go of it, a couple of mags down the road, you started putting hop on and your BBs are just fucking going everywhere again. So it's not the end of the world. Just have to adjust it every couple of mags, put it back to where it was. Scribe a little line on the outer barrel, on the upper receiver where the arm comes back to, just so where your mark is, just so you can just run it back there quickly. Or even that failing, that glue it in place. But just be careful. Obviously if it breaks, it's a bit of a ball ache. But I've found a little bead of glue tack along it, just holds it in nice and tight. Always good.
Talking about the magazines, the box mags, Lance, there isn't a lot of them. Little chargers are a bit strange. Just get a voltmeter on the connections after about half an hour charging, or cut it out and swap it to a mini LiPo.
Yeah, so I was thinking there does seem to be the space in there to put a 9-volt, so I might just do the old school 9-volt and not forget them like this fucking dingbat does. Winning.
Ray says, if it's the same as mine, which it looks like, Lance, light should flash when charging and go solid once it's charged.
Right, okay. I think I've either got a problem with the 3.5mm jack connector then, mate, or a problem with the actual lead that came with it. Yes, I shall have to see. I know Wayne's got a couple of 3 power packs. It's basically the 3.
I've got one floating around as well.
The 3 AAA batteries that are all sealed into like a taped unit. I think he's got 2 or 3 of them, which he's going to bring along for next. I think he's at SEO and he's at Legion with us, so we'll see what happens there.
Cool. Yes. Andy says, I want to get all the mortars together and all fire at once. I'm hoping.
That's the one thing. This year, we're going to do it this year. Yeah. We're going to do 3 rounds complete.
Yeah. Especially, I'm hoping it can be at night as well. That'd be wicked.
Yeah, at night time. And ideally, I'd like to get a camera set at the firing point and obviously the impact zone. Yeah. That would be brilliant.
Just be on fire.
Just be on fire. Just Mike stood in the middle of it with safe Vipro on, covered in peanut butter. Yes! Yes!
Regardless,
Rage running towards him, shouting Tranja. It's a big crescendo at the end. That's what we want.
Yes, you can, Wayne. Definitely bring all yours.
Yes, absolutely.
Regardless says 74 meters. I think that's his the AK.
Or was that the AK-74M?
74. Yeah. Oh, yes. No,
Ooh.
you're right. AK-74M. Sorry. My bad. And he says, yeah, no problem. We'll send the audio. That'd be cool.
Awesome. Thank you, mate.
And then talking of tag setups, Ray says, yes, Lance, my tag setup with launcher, 3 launching shells for fist filling device. It was 600 quid before you add rounds to it. So,
yeah, see, so it's a big outlay.
But to be fair, that's only 10 mortar rounds, and you're pretty much there.
What do you mean?
Well, if you spend
10 mortar rounds is not 600 quid, Mike.
No, I just realised the mass of that.
Are you fucking mental?
It's been a long day. Leave me alone.
I bought 10 mortar rounds the other day for £500. I thought it was quite a good deal.
They were actual mortar rounds. It was great.
I think you've had your pants pulled out. That's what I think.
Right, cool. Thanks everyone for joining us. We aren't 100% sure what we're going to be doing next week. We might have a guest on.
We might have. We're waiting to hear back, so we're not going to say anything until we've heard.
Yeah. Just need to confirm that, but we'll let you know hopefully by the weekend what will be happening. But it should be exciting. So if they come on, it'll be good fun, good laugh.
Yep.
So cool. Right. The only other thing I want to say is apologies to all the podcast listeners that tonight's episode has been very image heavy. So please feel free to go and check Facebook and YouTube if you'd like to actually see the pictures that we've been discussing.
Yes, yeah, do apologise for
because
that. We know a lot of people do download it and listen to it whilst driving to work, and it's hard to sort of generate in your mind. I think we were relatively clear, but we're always very conscious of being descriptive of stuff. But when you've got a picture there, you can say, if you look there, but that doesn't help someone who's driving
just
down
on the right of that image.
Yeah.
So anyway, cool. I think that's everything. In the meantime, feel free to get in touch. If you want to do so, you can talk to us on our email, which is nofochat@hotmail.com. Instagram is @November_Foxtrot_NoFo. Facebook is @NovemberFoxtrot_NoFo. YouTube is youtube.com/c/November Foxtrot. And our website is www.novemberfoxtrot.co.uk. I might shorten that. We don't get too many messages on some of those. I might just leave it as like the email on our website.
Yeah, it sounds good to me.
Be easier.
Regardless
has already sent the video, by the way. So we'll check that out later.
Oh, awesome. Good stuff.
Wicked. Right. Say goodbye, Lance.
Goodbye, Lance.
And we'll see you all next week. Ciao.
Ta-ta.